Welcome to the Scientific Investor channel. We can see that cryptocurrencies, say the top 10 are not actually moving much. It's actually in the negative territory, say 1%, 0.5%. If you take Bitcoin SV, it's in a positive area with green 4%. Now this is XRP chart on our hourly time frame, and you can see that the price is actually respecting a new trend line support, and it's actually moving in that direction. So if we actually look that on a daily chart, we can see that the last day entered in red candle, showing the price hasn't moved much to the upside, but it corrected back to the downside, but it is actually holding this particular area. So yes, it can act as a flag here, but yes, we'll look through that and discuss it with considering the technical indicators. But at the same time, we will look at the fundamentals increasingly strengthening day by day on an hourly basis. Now we have a lot of news to cover today, from new partnerships of Ripple, the company, then some indirect fundamentals which are getting partnerships like MoneyGram and Ebixcash. Then we'll show you some interesting tweets which will actually bring you some information and increase your knowledge. So some are like connecting the dots from older tweets with new information, and some are just the perspectives from some of our respectable community members, and we'll actually discuss through all of them and connecting the technicals of the price. So before that, I would like to request you guys, if you guys like the content I provide on a regular basis, please do support the channel. Now I'm reaching around 500 subscribers, and I would like to request you again, please do subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. Now we'll start with the first one. Now this is from at XRP 2020, showing that Ripple partner MoneyGram collaborates with Ebixcash to expand presence in the nation of India. Now that's actually huge for India as a country. Now that India is a big remittance market, so I'll just play this at a small areas to give you some kind of insights from this.
Ebixcash, a fully owned subsidiary. Time Ebix has about $6.5 billion in.
Whether it is coming from the Middle East or look, the part about bringing new money into India, that part is going to be handled by MoneyGram, simply because they're at the origination end where the money is handed over. Whether it is coming from the Middle East or Australia or US or Europe or wherever, we are at the destination and we are at the end where we hand over the money. So ours is a more of a servicing job, wherein we follow all the compliance and make sure all the KYCs are followed, but virtually in minutes of the money being handed over, say in Boston at MoneyGram's retail location, we would be able to hand over that money virtually all across all across our network, our franchisee network, all across the country.
You're targeting about $25 to $30 million in terms of revenues via this partnership. So how are you going to scale this up? And annually, when do you think these revenues will start ticking in?
They'll start kicking in immediately.
So that's the key. They will start kicking in immediately, and they are stating that anyone can transfer value from, say, Boston to India virtually at the same time. So that's the kind of partnership they are making with MoneyGram, and we know that MoneyGram is a partner of Ripple, making it possible for them. Sorry about that. MoneyGram is making possible for them. Now this is the next one, showing that there is a lot of money trapped or dormant capital as Nostro and Vostro, and for that this is really insightful, showing that we can actually unlock those amount and use them for purposes which we actually need. So I'll actually play this video for you.
Standards across market capital is out there. We just need to unlock the capital, and I think we can do that by knocking down these kinds of barriers. Now, the EU has been a real leader in this work. In October, it launched the first global
sustainable finance. So some kind of issues with the video, it's not actually being played, but yes, the theme is this. The capital is out there, and it's locked right now, and we can unlock it. So that's the kind of future we are looking at finance. Now this is from King Solomon. The last one was actually from Happy XRP. Now this one is from King Solomon. Now the first one is showing that Finastra joins World Economic Forum. Okay, so we know that Finastra, who's Finastra working with. Now at the same time, we can actually see this shaping the future of financial and monetary system and shaping the future of technology governance, blockchain and distributed ledger technology platforms. That's the central banks in the age of blockchain. So when we look at that, we have to see that at the World Economic Forum, we are keen to ensure the greater blockchain adoption, which we deem inevitable, happens in a way that supports inclusion and avoid replicating the consolidation of power that currently exists. So they're going to change something, and we know that something is going to happen at Davos during by the end of this month. And there's an interesting tweet from Real XRP Boy showing the real life use case. Now this is from staff of Interbank at Peru. We started working with Xcurrent, and after a year of testing Xcurrent, we are ready to switch to XRP. So that's the cryptocurrency for international transactions. So they will be using that because they have the benefits, right? So that they can get more customers, and they'll actually provide that to their end customers, right? Their clients. So they'll get more business. They can actually extend their reach. So that's actually good as a company. Now this just a perspective from Mr. BXRP showing that most conventional stock market investors could never endure 90 to 95% reduction in values. If we actually look at our cryptocurrencies, say we actually know that usually this happens. Say for XRP, if you actually consider last 2 cycles, you can actually see that the price actually dipped 94-95%. Now, yes, if you are someone who is trading in a normal market, you will say that no, the asset is actually going to zero, get out. So this is like 95.42% of price reduction at the point when XRP reached the bottom. So if that was the bottom, and personally I do think that that was the bottom. Now moving on to the next one, this is showing you that a tweet from John Wick showing some of the buy orders here. You have to see the buy orders spreading across there, and yes, that's a big buy order. So guys are actually coming in buying heavy bags. Now this is I'm a bit critical about this particular article because it states like Swift Prime, they are gonna give transactions in 2 days. Now when we go into that, it shows like the Swift CEO saying like, I'm not actually sure how genuine this article is. Still, even the last article which I read for you guys from coil.com, I've been really critical about that. Anyway, just I saw this and I thought it's interesting to share with you guys too. Now it's been difficult to try to keep up with innovation like RippleNet and ODL, said Swift CEO. I mean, that stuff's amazing. How do we compete? Well, recently I was ordering some socks through Amazon and it hit me, of course. Now, the service hopes to improve upon the current long waiting periods, which even take up to 7 to 10 days. They also have the error rates. Now they are talking this will be much better, explaining that for a small fee of $750,000 per month, banks subscribing to Swift Prime will have guaranteed 2-day deliveries of suitcase of cash. Now I'm really critical about these statements and this entire article. Now moving on to the next one, this is from Real XRP Boy. Now I'll like to play this for you guys.
The digital currency solution is the most important technological advance I've seen since the internet. It has the capacity to do lots more, but it certainly has the capacity to enable us to move anything of value around the world at the speed of light at no cost.
So that is actually the key. Anything of value with the speed of light at kind of no cost. So that's huge. Now this is like showing the perspective. I'm not actually going to play the video for you guys. Instead, I'll just talk through that. Like they're actually talking about 5 or 8 years, in which the 50 years on 2023, and it's just 3 years ahead, right? Anyway, we are. At least I'm a long-term investor, and I know most of the XRP community guys are invested in this for long-term. So now when I'm talking to you guys, this is a next one from Kevin Cage. I want to show his perspective. If you're angry at anyone in this community for being conservative, I'll just like it. Allow that. For being conservative in the price predictions, you may be over invested and desperate for instant gains. Lashing out at me won't help anything change price. So there should be a mandatory emotional IQ test before investing into this space, because yes, it is necessary. You are not actually expecting the return, say 10%, 50%, 100% in a week or a month, right? When you invest, that means you are investing in long term. It may take 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, but it will actually give you that enormous return on your capital if you have that patience. So now looking at the chart of XRP, this is a daily chart, and we can see that the price was actually moving in and making these price patterns, and we can see that previously when that happened, the price actually dipped back into this. Now I'll actually move into 12-hour chart. Now we'll move into 4-hour chart, that'll be better. Now looking at the 4-hour chart, now I'll just redraw or realign these lines, in which now this area is actually acting as a support area, and this one is acting as a resistance. If you want to highlight all the touches, you can do it like these. The price was actually respecting all of these areas previously. Once it went up, it actually made it as a support. Then it couldn't break down, it came back below that, and then retested that again, went back down, consolidated, then went back, then again it came up and retested that particular area. So if you actually look at that, what you have to see is like in this major pattern, now this is the pattern within the pattern, right? So it actually broke below. Now the same is actually happening. We can see that the pattern within the pattern is actually moving to the upside. Then it started getting momentum from this particular point. Now what you have to take care at that particular point is the price is actually moving to the upside towards the resistance, and if it actually managed to get around that, it's gonna be a war between the buyers and sellers. But what I would like to highlight is you have to see that the stochastic RSI is coming out of the overbought area in 4 hour, and at the same time if you look at the daily, you can see that the MACD is coming into the positive territory. So if you actually draw a line, you can understand that the MACD is moving to the upside, stochastic RSI is moving to the upside. So that's kind of a positive news there. So if you see this, we had a positive, like in our previous video we actually talked about this area. The price was being consolidated, it didn't move much during last week, and we saw that the MACD was pointing to the upside, showing that the price may be accumulating more buyers and the price will be bouncing to the upside, and that actually happened, right? Now looking at the same in an hourly chart, we can see that the price is actually moving to the upside. It just broke off through this trading range. It went above, it came down, retested that area, now it went back. Now if we can see that is the price is actually moving in this particular area, and if it's going to bounce from here, it should be breaking this particular area, right? So that will be acting as a resistance, because these area were acting as a previous resistance. So if it managed to go above that, at that area we can see that in a 4-hour and a daily chart we have a overhead resistance at that particular point. So if we move above 0.2324, then that's going to be a bullish, and if you're looking to buy in short term, then that will be a best area to buy in. Now yes, this is just my opinion based on this chart which I'm analyzing using these indicators. It's not actually a financial advice. Now looking at the same, if you can just compare that XRP to the BTC chart, you can actually see that XRP to the BTC is actually showing a bit of a negative trend, like the price reached this upward momentum here, but from that point onwards it's been traveling to the downside, and as you can see that the price is actually respecting this area and it's still moving to the downside. So as of now we don't have a positive momentum for XRP BTC play. Yes, we are looking at it on a shorter time frame, say the 4-hour chart, but in this duration we can see that the price is actually respecting this area and moving to the downside. So for that we'll actually look at XRP BTC on a daily chart, zooming out, and it's an analog scale. So we can actually see that it was actually a correction. After the price reached the bottom, it went to the upside, then corrected back. So if we actually measure the correction from that particular area, you can actually see that it's 30% of correction for that. So that's actually a strong one. Usually we can consider that as a Fibonacci level retracement, and then moving to the upside. So for that, if we manage to break about this area, it's gonna be a key indicator that you can turn bullish for this asset. Now that's all for today, guys, and I would like to again request you guys, if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, please do hit the subscribe button and hit the like button. If you guys have any suggestions, do let me know in the comment section below. I'll meet you guys on the next one. Bye for now.